Hello and welcome back to another video on my channel. Thank you so much for being here. It is the last day of October. Happy Halloween. And so it's time for our October allotment tour. I'm breaking tradition. We're going to start in the greenhouse. It's a miserable wet day. I've just got back from walking the dogs and I'm actually drenched. So I'm getting this video done before I go into the house and get myself dry and have something hot to warm me back up again. But yeah, it's the end of October, and in the Celtic wheel, I think that is the festival of Samhain, as a word that I almost only ever see written down. It's taken me quite a long time to get the pronunciation of this one right, but I'm pretty sure it's Samhain. Can you hear the rain? And where I am, based on the British Isles, I've really come to appreciate the passing of the Celtic wheel because of its seasonal alignment. You're currently balancing on a pot of basil. But yeah, I've come to appreciate the Celtic wheel because of its seasonal alignment, and this particular festival at the end of October is often referred to as the Celtic New Year. And again, being in the garden, being a gardener, that really rings true to me, because all of the activities that we're doing at this time of year are so much based on getting ourselves ready for next year's gardening season or harvesting season. So I always feel like, and I think it's been said elsewhere on the internet and on YouTube, that sort of October feels like the start of the new gardening year. And that's very much where I am at in terms of what I'm doing in the garden at the moment, as you've seen. So with that said, if you celebrate any of the festivals at this time of year, I hope that they are fabulous for you. And before the rain on the greenhouse completely drowns me out, let's get on with the tour in here. Okay, so we've got basil and coriander, both of which I think need a good water. I've harvested both of these recently. In the hardy annuals that we sowed a few weeks ago, we've got some cornflowers, and these have come up since yesterday because I was in here yesterday and I did not notice them. The spinach is looking still alive, which greatly pleases me. You will have heard me, I'm sure, talk a lot of times previously about my lack of success with spinach. These are the best spinaches I've ever grown. And then we've got another very healthy tray of coriander. In fact, I've got 2 trays of coriander. And 2 trays of dill. And again, I've harvested from some of the dill. These seem to be having an absolute whale of a time. I don't know if these pots are going to be big enough for them long term. Got to figure something out. I'd like to get a few more of these ones. I think my chilli plant is basically dead. I should really harvest those last couple of chilies, and maybe I can encourage this one to overwinter. And then the cut and come again lettuces. I cut all of this back only a couple of, I want to say days ago, but it was probably a couple of weeks ago, and it's ready for a great big chop again. Underneath, the aubergine has gone. In fact, I forgot to bring the aubergines into the house and they've just been sat there, so that will be something I do in the future. And underneath, I've still got tomatoes ripening. They won't all ripen, but every now and again I can come in and grab a whole load more. I lost track of how many kilos of tomatoes I'd harvested, and around about 11 kilos. And we are way over that now. Moving on. So yeah, I'd like to get some more of this kind of tray, and then I can put them around the edges of the greenhouse. We've got greenhouse tomatoes. These are doing very well. These are the ones that I kind of abandoned a bit longer than the others, so they're a bit behind. But these ones over here, which as far as I know are all Jen's Tangerine Cherry, these ones are got quite a lot of fruit on them, so hopefully this greenhouse stays warm enough and they'll ripen. So that's all for the greenhouse. Stepping out into the rain, I'm just going to pop my hood up. Okay, the pond is feeling much better now that it's getting a regular supply of water. I've still got watercress in there, but it's still not winning the fight against the green algae. This water butt is filling up, but it is open, so I have no idea if this is contributing to that at all. But that one is also filling, so it's got to be doing something. The lavender is kind of fully gone, although there is one stray piece of lavender desperately trying to cling on. And then I've got a very weedy sort of perennial bed. I've got my perennial Welsh onions, raspberries, the globe artichoke, and a rhubarb in here. There's also a massive load of parsley, oregano, and tarragon. So this is a busy bed, and it's got all kinds of stuff in it. That parsley may as well be perennial because it doesn't want to ever die. But there's also all of these weeds. And these are garlic chives, also perennial. They seem to only like to grow in the winter because this is the biggest they've been all winter, so these might actually be due a chop. Cleared all the tomatoes out of the pig pen, but there are still spring onions in here. Whether they will do anything, I do not know. Compost bins full of all the tomato stuff. Ooh, that was a worm. Back border. I've built up the sides. A little bit of me, since I was editing the video where I showed you how I built this, sort of regrets how high the front side is, because it kind of obliges me to build the soil level up to there, and I'm not entirely certain that's what I want to do. The back one I'm happy with because its main job was to protect the fence, but we'll see how that goes. And I've still got these bedding plants that I put in like right in the early spring. They were some kind of daisy. Going through the middle border, the cosmos is still going wild. I've got new growth on this snapdragon. That will be the 3rd year. Snapdragons aren't perennial, are they? And then also in this bed, the dahlias are still hard at it. I say dahlias, dahlia, singular. Still hard at it. Needs a bit of deadheading. I'm just going to see how this goes. This will die in the frost, first frost, so that will be when I dig it up. And we've got the fennel, which I don't eat a lot of, but it's just pretty and it grows really well. And the often ignored tricolour sage. There is a golden sage over there, which I keep meaning to dig out and move, and I haven't done yet. So that is still, I haven't forgotten about it. And why is this cosmos looking so yellow? That's really weird. And then in the sandy bed, I've got the winter savoury, which very probably needs a cutback, because that looks sort of dead. But I'm not quite sure how I'd approach that. Maybe just chop it all back hard. I'll see if I can do some research. And then I've got some carrots, because carrots are about the only things that really want to grow in this bed, apart from the winter savoury. A few more carrots coming up. this is the time that I relocated from over there. There's another time. Another parsley, some sorrel, which I don't really eat, but is perennial, so I've just left it there to do its own thing, to see what happens. And then the strawberries, catmint, which is looking a bit sad, but I'm just going to leave that to do its own thing. Rosemary is looking quite healthy and strong. A purple sage. There is another thyme in there in all of the weeds. My grapevine, that grew quite a bit this year. I'm not quite sure. Based on last year, it will probably die back now. But yeah, I'm quite pleased with how much that's grown. And then this is a very vigorous green sage. This is the sage that I harvest the most and use in the kitchen. I've got a row of pots. I think that's strawberry mint, raspberries, and I need to chop these canes back. That is a apple mint, lemon balm, peppermint, and another raspberry. Go me for remembering. And then bed number 5 is getting filled up with all of the stuff that hasn't gone in the compost bin, and at some point I will remember to empty the compost bin just straight in there and start again with the compost. And then this is my winter veg bed. I've got some beetroot, load of pak choi, and I think these, do you remember I lost leeks? Like I planted leeks in here and then they just went missing. Well, there are just little patches where I think those leeks are coming back. I can't think what else it will be unless I've left loads more garlic, because those are the garlics that I found self-seeding in here and replanted. So unless there's loads more of that, which I'd be suspicious of, I think these must be the leeks. We'll see what's happening. There are some beans, but I doubt they're going to fruit at this time of the year. There's another row of pak choi which has been munched, but hopefully we'll recover more parsley. Some kale with some leaves that are ready to eat, so they will go in some soup soon. And then this is what I thought was chard, and some of it is chard, but some of it is beetroot. So that one is a beetroot, can you see? That is a beetroot for sure. And then we planted out some more, or some kales, no, some cabbages and a kale. And then we've got the nasturtiums. These took a little while to get going. They didn't really properly get going until September-ish. And now they're looking very happy. Again, I'm going to leave them to do their thing because they should come back next year. And then round the back we've got the blueberries looking very happy in their home. Again, look at that colour. I know I say it every time, but blueberries in autumn are sensational. And then this is my other improvised water butt. Yeah, it's collecting quite a bit of water in there, so I'm quite pleased. And then over in the main garden, the roses are still looking quite lovely. Again, as long as I keep up with the deadheading, which I haven't in all of the roses, they'll keep going for a bit longer. I've just come back into the greenhouse to say farewell to you, and I've realised that I didn't point out the pak choi, which has also started to germinate, so should have some good successions of pak choi to enjoy. So thank you very much for joining me in another video. I hope you've enjoyed this short tour of my allotment at the end of October. It's looking pretty good. I think we've made some really good progress in here this year. I'm really looking forward to next year. I've been doing some light planning, but as it's only October, I don't commit to any plans until I actually start to execute them in late March or April, depending on how I feel. So up until then, we just take it a little day at a time and see what happens. So I hope you're having a lovely time in your garden. The basil stand is not robust. I hope you're enjoying a lovely time in your gardens, and I hope to catch up with you in the comments. Please let me know what it is that you've been up to. If you've liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you would like to see more. It really motivates me to make more videos. So I hope to see you next time. Thanks again. Bye.